Welcome to Summit University. Today our guest is Stephen Acuff. He's a best-selling author and lecturer on health and diet in Europe and the United States. Mr. Acuff specializes in the macrobiotic diet. He is an instructor at the Kushi Institutes in Massachusetts and a nutritional counselor at a medical clinic in Germany. He is also director of a macrobiotic center in Sweden. Mr. Acuff is here today to talk about Oriental diagnosis.
So in the sessions we've done up to now, we have dealt a lot with the theory behind evaluation of our health using the techniques which we have taken over from the traditional Chinese medicine. We have, with the information we have gathered so far, enough to really start looking at ourselves. And now that you've been involved in this theory for different sessions, I would like to take this session to use our theoretical knowledge in a practical way. So we'll go over to using all of these things we've been discussing, talking about, that I've been discussing, and see how that looks with us individually. And so for this, we'll want to have a few people, brave people who want to come forward, and we'll take a look at them. Now, for those sitting in the last rows, it might not be possible to really see all of the little details we're talking about, but I will explain what we're seeing for those who are sitting too far back to see this. And then you'll get some idea about how you are. And for those who do come forward, if you remember what we say about them, you can look at them later on, wherever you happen to see them, and see if you can recognize those things we were talking about. So, let's do it this way. Let's begin just with any one person who would like to come up now and participate in our evaluation of the health. Okay? The hand went right up there. Okay, right there. So, I'm going to take a couple of seconds here to look closely at her, and then you can do the same. I hope I don't block too many views as I stand here and look. So, for those who are sitting towards the front and can see her and the details, what do you see now that really strikes you based on the things that we have learned in the previous sessions? Any comments? But in any case, I'll accompany you through this.
I feel like I'm being stared at.
So, what are some of the comments? Okay, we'll take a look at her constitution first. So, take a look at the side here a little bit. The jaw has a bit more of the slant to it. Let's take a look at your hand. Now, she holds her hand up. For constitution, if you remember when we talked about constitution, we mentioned that the hand and the fingers have a certain proportion. Now, these are fairly short fingers. So this is speaking more for yang. That's very good. A little bit more yang. since we're looking at the hand, we can see, I don't know if you can see the difference, but look at the difference in the color of our hand. Can you see this?
And pink and white.
Yeah. What color is her hand?
Pink and white.
Red. That's right. Reddish color shows. So, although her constitution here shows some strong yang, or compact energy, her hand as a condition shows more yin. And as she now goes over more and more to macrobiotic foods, this will, you're going to do that, right?
I'm in the process.
Great, okay. Then this color will change, become different, become less red. Okay, now, today we talked about checking out the condition with the skin. Now, one thing is having too yin where the skin is very loose and pulls away. Here, when I'm touching, I can't really get the skin away because there is a layer of fat under the skin holding that down. So it's like when I reach for the skin, I can feel the fat under. So, here we have, you can say, a need for discharge kind of foods.
Oh, I've been discharging.
You've been discharging, huh? Well, great. So, now, I don't know if you were watching when she walked up here, but did you notice a certain stiffness in her shoulders as she walked? I think a lot of people nodding, I think you could see that. It's the first thing that struck me when I saw her moving towards the stage was the stiffness. Now, when I touch in this area,
I have a chiropractor working on her shoulder.
okay, we'll just do it here.
Okay.
Okay. So here we again have the wall. Remember we talked about the wall going down the back? Instead of having vertebrae contours, we have this hard compacted fat going down the vertebrae, showing that there is a lot of hard stuff inside. Also, it's very difficult to get my hand under the scapula. So, we're getting already some very clear pictures here of a need for breaking down all these excesses, because this is going to slow her up. It's going to create a lot of stress, unnecessary work for the body. And this is already going on, of course, but it can be broken down so that life gets easier and easier. Also, chiropractic work can be excellent, and as your these hardened deposits break down more and more, the chiropractic work will have more effect.
Of course, these are shoulder pads.
Yeah, that's right. I spotted them immediately. Mm-hmm.
Could I share that I had
Please.
complete hysterectomy just a year ago?
Mm-hmm.
But that would be my question. What does that do with the liver meridian that you were talking about?
Mhm.
Being as I no longer have ovaries, I no longer have a uterus or tubes.
Mm-hmm.
And the bladder suspension was done at the same time just a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, what does that mean when you remove organs like that, which are along meridian lines? It means a weakened organ. It means weakened organ function. So that's right. So when you have those kind of operations, it's important to compensate with proper food choices and proper lifestyle choices, because this problem you have is for the rest of your life, and you can balance that out by taking away the excess burden, so that in general your liver will still function in a much more balanced state than someone who hasn't had such radical operations but isn't taking care of himself.
that's why I'm here, to learn to take care of myself.
That's right. So that's good. So that was very good that she was open, told us about her hysterectomy. Now, if you look, we
Wasn't
go.
any fun.
I'll bet it wasn't. I'll bet it wasn't. If we look at her face, for those sitting in the front rows, do you remember the area which corresponds to the sexual organs was, of course, around the mouth? That's right. And if we look here, do you see anything which shows that that is an organ problem for her? Very good. The pouches. You see these small pouches to the left and right? And it'd be very difficult for the people sitting further back to see, but there is on the chin a definite red color, as we spoke about before. So if she looks close, the next time she looks in a mirror, she'll see that the color here is definitely more red than here. Just goes
Really? I never
that much.
noticed that.
And as her health increases, this reddish color will decrease. Now, something else we can notice here, very interesting, that is that the cheek area, if you look close on the camera, you'll be able to see it particularly well, but in the cheek area, she has expanded blood vessels, showing strong yin in lung or perhaps breast.
That just happened not too long ago. I noticed myself. I didn't know what it meant, but I noticed that I was getting red on the cheeks. I had not been.
Mm-hmm.
But I did have breast surgery. Tumors, it was not cancerous, as you were talking about. I had that a couple years ago, fibrocystic breast disease.
Right. Okay.
So I can collaborate a lot with what you were sharing today. It was very interesting to me.
That's great.
It's like tailor-made for me, truthfully, where you were sitting there talking, or I was sitting there as you were talking about
Well,
the surgery and everything, and here I am.
Well,
Lucky to be standing here.
That's right. Well, I really think that's a very healthy attitude. Whatever problems we find in your physical body, you have a very healthy attitude. And it's also the reason I decided to come here and interrupt my wonderful summer holidays to take these days to share this with you, because I was sure that people like you would be able to have a lot of benefit from the information, and I'm sure it's going to go well for you.
Well, thank you.
Very
Thank you
good.
for being here.
Now, now that we've heard about this, we can check a little closer and see this area. We've just heard that she has, in fact, had breast surgery for
Tumor removed from the breast.
tumor removed from the breast, which was benign. And that's very good, because a benign tumor is a gentle warning from higher levels that it's time to make some changes.
Also, my uterus was full of tumors.
Mm-hmm.
Fibroid.
Fibroid. Mm-hmm.
And the lining was precancerous condition. So that's your medical diagnosis.
That's very good, because our evaluation here will also substantiate what was just said. If we think about what I said about cancer today, look at the area between her eyebrows and her eyes. Can you see this puffiness that we were talking about? And especially the symmetry of it is interesting also. Or the lack of symmetry, better said. Can you see the lack of symmetry in that swelling?
What are you talking about? Here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The swelling is not the same on both sides.
Yeah, but you know, my eyes swell from crying, and if you cry when you go through transplantation, that's a little bit of swelling from that. They usually aren't swollen like that.
Mm-hmm. But that's why I find it especially interesting. If your eyes swell from crying, it should be more symmetrical. But just in general, for your information, she has what we would consider a precancerous condition just by looking at the face, because this swelling is not symmetrical and shows that there is some deep imbalances going on, that her immune system is not keeping up with its assignment. It is not keeping the blood and or the body in proper order. It's not keeping it clean. It's not effectively defending the body against malignant growth, and that if she were to continue on the path that she has taken up to now, that she would most likely in the coming years be fighting with cancer. But because she has understood that she must change some things, and she's involved in that already, she can do some very good cleansing, and she can use her hands as a barometer of this. She can look at the reddishness and see the reddishness disappear. She can feel how the fat layer under the skin becomes less and less as her skin begins to breathe. Now let's imagine what happens constantly through our metabolism. Toxic material is being created, aside from all the toxins we're taking in from the environment. If the skin has a certain quality, which is that you can basically pull it away from what's underneath, and there's no fat that comes along. Feel that now? Yeah, you can really grab it. Feel the difference? Grab it right here. You can really get the...
Doesn't that hurt?
That's it. No, it doesn't hurt at all. It's a nice massage. Feel that?
Yeah.
Big difference, isn't it?
Big difference, yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is like from before. Cheese, all this cheese is still sitting
Well,
there.
I was very heavy on dairy products.
Yeah. Dairy food is one of the major problems leading to the kind of health crises that you've had. Mm-hmm. So all of that cheese is still sitting there. You thought you got rid of it. And as the breakdown continues, you can even feel almost like little balls of excess underneath the skin. Like just go like this a little bit with your finger. Can you feel it?
Yeah.
Okay, now do that here. Feel the difference?
Smooth.
Yeah, see that? So, of course, I've had a lot of years to get mine in order. When I first started macrobiotics, I had a lump of fat under the skin right here on my large intestine meridian. And I asked a doctor about it. I said, I've had this for about a year. He said, oh, it's no problem, we can cut it out. Yeah. So I said, I'll wait. And then, without knowing what would happen, I started this new food program, and within about 6 weeks, this thing was gone. Just gone. Because it was nothing more than fat excess, probably coming out of my intestines after I learned how the meridians go in the body. My body was depositing this excess there, and as I brought my fat consumption more into line with my biological needs, the body just broke that down and it was gone. I sometimes meet people who have such things all over their body, have 20 to 30 of these all over their body. See, and this is a bad sign. The body is not in balance.
I also had 3 or 4 polyps removed from the colon recently, a couple years ago before the surgery for the hysterectomy.
So polyps being removed from the colon, also a precancerous condition. So she's been getting lots of warnings. Her body is telling her this is not going the right way. So now, understanding that dairy food, animal food in general, or too much of the wrong kind of vegetable oil. You know, French fries are vegetarian. But, you know, what kind of vegetarianism is that? That's French fries, which are by calorie about 50% fat, almost 50%. This is the kind of food which will not promote health even though it is of vegetable quality. In any case, all this excess gathers and then her body starts breaking down. Now, just one interesting fact. When you have this kind of fat in the body, as long as you keep feeding that with the wrong kind of food, it will make a lot of what we call sludging of the blood. The blood sludges. It becomes like sticky, you could say, from the fatty acids. And what happens in the end is that the immune system is no longer able to deal with cell changes going on from good cells to dangerous cells. Our immune system is based on a principle of recognition. We have these little cells, really a divine wonder that these little cells have memory and can actually recognize threats to the body and can destroy them. But these cells do it by like bumping into these cells and then kind of feeding. Did that feel like something friendly? No, that's the way these cells work. If we now have excess fat and cholesterol in our blood, everything gets kind of sticky. It's like a fog. It's like trying to drive in the fog. And everything gets coated with this stuff. So the ability of the immune cells to recognize danger, like cell mutation, becomes much less. Studies have shown that the immune system's effectiveness drops by 20 to 25% in people who have elevated cholesterol.
Yeah, well, mine was up. All the tests I had to have for my surgery, but my triglycerides were quite high. What does that mean?
Triglycerides high means that the blood fat was not in order, that your body was having difficulty breaking down the fat, and this again, like cholesterol, it's a sign that the body's immune function is less. So, how old are you?
53. I have my birthday August 21st here during summer university. 53.
53.
54 next month.
So you belong to a generation which had actually not a bad basic constitution.
Right.
You were a child, and in the time when your mother was carrying you was a time before the modern food excesses really became out of control.
That's true. My mother was a smoker, though, and she loved sweets and was very much meat eater.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at my earlobes. I hardly have any earlobes.
That's right. Not too much earlobe there. See, she's learned a lot today, huh?
Yeah.
So, in any case, you can watch these signs on your face. You'll see that your face changes.
Oh, it's already changed since I've been here a month at Summit University.
Great. I hope
I
you're
look different.
keeping track of that with photographs. You should do that.
Well, they haven't taken any.
Maybe you can have someone who's got a camera take pictures of you. This is very interesting to document what happens over the 2-3 months, because you'll see that the excesses showing on the face will become less and less. You can see here the kidney bags under the eyes, just a little bit there. You know, we talked about that today, kidneys. But also an interesting thing from a side perspective, if we look at that, is when this becomes loose here behind the chin, this is also a sign of reproductive malfunction.
Isn't that a double chin?
That's right, it's a double chin. Mm-hmm.
I've always kind of had that, though.
Uh-huh. These problems also have been many years building up.
Yeah.
But you'll see also in men who develop prostate problems, tendency for this to start hanging right behind the chin. We spoke about the chin today as being related to uterus and prostate, and this area goes further back than just the front of the chin. It goes to the back of the chin also. So this is also will tighten up. Okay, stand straight again. So here is a matter of staying with it, of step by step, getting healthier and healthier. And then after, where do you live?
Youngstown, Ohio.
When you return to Ohio, then you can continue with the information you gathered here and get yourself really in order. It will probably take you, I would say, 2 or 3 years to really get yourself in what we would call a healthy balance. But that's meaning the full balance. Mm-hmm. Much earlier than that, you'll feel much better. You'll be working, let's say you'll have the worst behind you, getting yourself better in order.
I just went through the last couple of days here of not wanting to look at any more rice. Really?
Sure.
You know.
That can happen. That can happen. What do you do when you can't look at rice anymore? Sure, you can take other grains, and also taking noodles, whole grain noodles, especially when it gets warm. We find that the aversion to whole grains comes on more during warm weather than cool weather. And noodles are a lighter quality, especially if you have them with a broth, a vegetable broth. And
Well, see, I would eat, but I didn't feel satisfied, or I was sick at my stomach, or I had diarrhea or something. That's what I've been going through.
oh yeah, well that's all part of the discharge. I hope you're chewing your food well.
That is the problem of mine. I'm trying to learn to do so because I was always one not to chew well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
That's right. It's learning these healthier habits, and that means overcoming this tendency to always fall back to the old stuff.
It's not easy.
That's right. But that's why the challenges are here. Now, if we look at the mouth too, you'll see there is in the middle part of the lower lip, there's a slight enlargement, a little bit of a swollenness. It's not a lot, but it's enough to be noticed if you've got an eye for things like this. And, you know, whereas from another perspective, maybe you see a woman with fairly large lips, you think this looks very sensuous. You know? And from my point of view, it's just a sign of intestines.
That can damper the passion.
Yeah, that really keeps you on a nice, even, cool feel. That's right.
You're not saying mine's that swollen.
No, it just reminded me of that. No, actually, this is just very, very little. You have to look close to see it.
Somebody had a question up there.
There was a question, that's right.
You suggested, I believe, that she should have discharge foods. What are they?
Okay, I'll repeat the question for the camera. I had suggested that she take discharge foods. That means foods which promote the breaking down of fat and cholesterol deposits in the body, old salt and things which can gather here and there. And what's especially important is don't eat a lot of baked flour. So be careful with things like cookies and cakes and anything
Anything that's good.
Anything that's good, that's right.
I've been putting daikon in my miso soup.
Yeah, okay, that's very good. Using white radish, daikon radish, in your soup is an excellent idea, and using it also as a raw grated condiment, or as not a condiment, a side dish in your food is also excellent. Then we can use the shiitake mushrooms. Shiitake mushrooms are available in natural food shops. These also promote that.
Yeah, but how much would I want to? I wouldn't want to start out with a whole lot of that, would I? I'd just put using a little bit of daikon in my soup.
That's right. It's not wrong to do this in let's say a transitional way of using these things. Some people experience what we call healing crises. This is where the discharge exceeds the body's ability to break it down. So you'll get a backup, and this causes problems. It can even scare some people to want to stop eating macrobiotically. So that for some people, especially when we see so much like we've seen here, shoulder area, in the hands, in the arms, we see a lot of compacted things. Now, you may know that toxic material is especially stored in fat. That's where environmental poisons are especially stored. Many of these environmental chemicals are fat soluble, so they often end up in the fat. So when this excess fat starts breaking down, all of this stuff is being spilled into the blood. So it can be good to just take it step by step. And so with discharging foods, we would say now that you've been eating the food that is served here for about a month, you've already got a good step forward in making the leap to health. And it's just a matter of continuing with that and experimenting and seeing what works for you. If you feel good now with, say, more of the radish, the daikon, using more mushrooms, that's fine. If you feel that you're starting to to have symptoms of excess discharge that you can't handle. That would be things like getting headaches or skin rashes.
I got sores inside my mouth.
Sores inside your mouth, yeah, that's a common one, especially when your body is discharging out of the intestinal area.
Okay. What do you do for that?
Well, there's different things you can do. One thing is to chew your food exceptionally well, because this will make it more alkaline and will give your whole body fluid a push in the direction of alkaline, because it's like acidity coming out there. The other thing would be to take special dishes like the salt plum, just not too much, but a little bit of the salt plum in tea.
Okay.
Or you could also have it in kuzu. You know kuzu?
Yeah, they gave me some of that. I had trouble with it.
What problems did you have? Oh, getting it down. Which combination did you have?
I don't know. They gave it to me in the man's kitchen when I was sick.
Mm-hmm.
Tastes like gravy?
Yeah, thick like gravy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably a very good, strong medicinal drink. Sometimes when we're having a lot of health problems, we have some resistance to these strong medicinal drinks because they create, they really get things going.
Well, when you're nauseous to begin with and they say drink it, I never had tasted it before or drank it before. It just didn't set well with me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in any case, if you find that's too strong, then that's okay. You know, you can let that go for a while, but then try it again, because usually it's just a strange taste that you have to get used to again. And I would keep trying it. If you find the kuzu consistency to be not so pleasant, then just take the plum and put it in some tea.
Okay.
But use the natural tea, like your bancha tea.
Okay.
And if you take that, that will also have an alkalizing effect, and you can even let it be in your mouth for a while. Now, another thing that's good is denti. Have you ever heard of denti? Denti is a black powder made out of charred eggplants. See, the macrobiotic idea is you take something that's extremely yin. That's like an eggplant. It has a very yin, expanded form. And when you charcoal it, you actually convert that to extreme yang. So as a means of dealing with yin discharge, which is these mouth sores would be, you could take some of this denti, D-E-N-T-I-E, and you could, it has also salt in it, sea salt. It's sea salt and charred eggplant. And you put some in your mouth and just let it be in your mouth for maybe a quarter of an hour. And the strong yang of this will heal those
Thank you.
places a lot faster. So that's what we call dealing with symptoms, you know, because it's not pleasant to have that. So while she's going through that, she can take such a dish and help get over the unpleasantness. But the real issue here is, of course, to go into deeper healing and deeper cleaning so that all of these things that are causing that just disappear, and that will happen. There was another question?
I was wondering if bentonite clay, that's soil, would that help draw out the poisons?
That's right. You can take some of these clays that are edible, and it will absorb a lot of toxic material if it's in the digestive system, especially intestines. That's right. It's in Europe. It's very popular, in Germany especially.
Is miso also a cleanser? Would you use that to sort of neutralize things?
Yeah, miso is also a cleanser, and we would recommend in any case that you take miso soup every day, the soybean paste miso, and having a soup of that every day is very good for cleansing. I have seen many people have the reaction that you spoke about with the kuzu and salt plum drink, have them with that with miso, because the miso soup can actually set in motion so much discharge and getting things going when you're stuck that people will actually have an aversion to it the first time they take it, but that they didn't turn and like it.
I started a miso soup at the Easter conference. Learned to like it even then, continued it.
That's great, because miso soup every day is perfect. And actually, we all need a miso soup every day. My day doesn't seem complete without one.
Well, I can take the miso soup. The rest of the stuff I was having a problem with.
That's great. Well, just remember that you just need to take it in the pace that is right for you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Because there's no demands on you that everything be right at the moment. Your body is going through a process of change, so just let that change happen, but never lose sight of your goal, where you're going with this.
Okay.
And just keep looking at your face in the mirror, you know, and then have pictures taken so you can compare, and you'll see that the swelling around the eyes will become less and less. The eyes will become clearer. You'll see that this area of the cheeks becomes more the same color, and the reddishness in your hands will disappear.
And I fell asleep during your lecture at 3 o'clock today. Did you see me out there going like this?
Yeah, I actually thought of mentioning that because of the examples I had before me. Okay, well, I certainly appreciate your honesty in telling us about all these health problems you've had, and I'm sure that it's going to go much better for you.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Thank all of you.
So, who else would like to come up? Oh, lots of hands now, okay. Sure, come on up. We'll take a look at you. See, we have a lively group this evening. Okay, so now we'll just take a look. You know, using all this information you've gathered from the previous sessions, just take a look now and see, what do you think? What kind of things stick out? What kind of things are interesting to bring up? Let's take a look at your hand. We'll show everybody your hand so they can get an idea of this. I'll show my hand as a comparison so you can see. Especially interesting is how, I don't know if you can see this out there, but there is a definite color change from here to here. Definite color change. So here, the color is much better than the strong red we saw before, but if you look close, you can still see it. But again, it's not so pronounced. Then I can feel here. Now here, I can actually take the skin, and the fat below is very moderate and isn't compacted and isn't coming with the skin, so I can actually pull the skin. So this feels pretty good.
I'm glad.
Great, huh? Let's ask her. How long have you been doing this?
I would say at least 5 years.
5 years. No wonder. This is so nice.
I'm very grateful.
That's great. So now when I touch the shoulders, this feels pretty good. There's no hardness here. Now I go down the backbone, I can feel the vertebrae. Imagine. I can feel each one of the vertebrae. I know exactly where her backbone is. I can get my hand under the scapula. So when you look at the general impression, I would, if I just saw her on the street, I would suspect that she's doing something right with her food. Just assume that, because she looks good.
Hats off to the kitchen.
Great. Now, for basic constitution, we have these good earlobes we spoke about earlier, longer earlobes for constitutional strength. She's also from a generation which is more, so has more strength, basic constitutional strength. Now, if we look here at the forehead, we can see a little bit of the liver, which can possibly also be something left over from before. She could already be healing her liver condition, but she's still carrying the mark of that from before. So if I'm curious, I could also check the liver by just going under the ribs. So breathe in and then out. In and out. So So it's still maybe a little bit tight, but feels pretty good. You like to eat seaweeds?
Yes.
Great. And you chew your food very well?
Not as long as I would like to. I have to master chewing fast.
Master chewing fast, huh? Because see, your nails are still a little thin. They should be a little thicker.
What does that indicate?
It usually indicates poor absorption in the intestines. This is why I mentioned the thing with chewing.
I see.
Because if you're not chewing your food properly, you'll have less absorption, and you'll find that your nails, like feel your nail there, and then feel my nail.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Very smooth.
Yeah. This one is
Ridgy.
that's right. It's a little weak, and will get stronger as your intestinal condition even strengthens. Tell us a little bit about any health problems you've had.
Well, I think the most dramatic health situation that I had was about, I guess, probably about 5 or 6 years ago. It was just about the time I was beginning to eat seriously, macrobiotically. And I looked in the mirror one day and I thought, there's something that's not right. So I took myself to a diagnostician. He was in Brookline, Massachusetts, and he had been eating macrobiotically for 17 years. And he said, immune system. He tested me electrically with different segments of the body where there were stresses. And he began treating me with some German system which addressed particular organs biochemically. And he put me on a Chinese remedy, I don't know what it was, for the immune system. And gradually I got stronger, but I could tell that I had, he said biologically I was older than I should be. He wouldn't tell me how old I was biologically, but it was enough to make me think I must do something rapidly. And he was very gentle about getting onto the macrobiotic regimen because he said, I had been told you shouldn't drink much liquid, you know, if you were macrobiotically eating. And he said, but you are cleansing, you are clearing out, so you need to drink a lot of water, or a lot of bancha or whatever liquid. So he was extremely helpful, and my biological age began to drop. So that was extremely helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'd like also to share with you, and this is a very frank sharing, I had a dream about that same time of there was a figure that was lying on the floor, and I knew that this figure was quite sick with cancer and had resentment. And I rose up out of that figure and I left.
Mm.
And I thought this was a very clear warning dream, that there was the physiological possibility and there was the psycho-spiritual possibility. And I guess that's one reason why I took myself to get help.
Mm. That's very interesting because you have signs of a possible cancer, which have now been stopped. You're no longer in danger.
Praise God. Thank you.
But I find it very interesting because this dream you had, because you, on the old path, I'm certain that you would have developed it. You got some very clear signs of cancer that was on the way, but that you've stopped.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. That's very good. So for you, I think the most important thing, because we see on the face, looks pretty good. You know, these lines are a little bit deep here. You know, we talked about these as being signs of general problems of the digestive system, but speak for physical vitality in general. A little bit of this still showing strong, that in the coming years, say 2-3 years, as she continues regaining her health, I would expect that this, which is still a little bit swollen, that this becomes maybe a little more even. But it's actually just a small thing because in general, it looks pretty good. Main thing here is really taking good care of the digestive tract, and that means starting with the good chewing,
Yes.
and that should keep you going.
And the liver? Low salt, possibly?
Yeah, I would just say you don't have to think too much about the liver. You do have a certain amount of hardness still there. If you're interested in doing something special for it, you might consider now and then taking some green vegetable juice, like juicing some green vegetables and drinking the juice of that raw. Of course, just eating raw green vegetables in moderate quantities, of course, can also be good. But to give that extra little, let's say, more therapeutic effect, you can take it in just drinking the juice. Be like, a half a cup or something like that.
Yes.
That can be good. And otherwise, for the liver, there is the shiitake mushroom. The mushrooms are good.
Yes.
And also the reishi or lingzi mushroom.
Yes.
So both those are good for liver. Liver has also a special meaning for our health because it's our major detoxing organ. So when you eat macrobiotically, you're already taking the burden off the liver, and the rest of the work is just living as natural as possible and avoiding the pollution effects and things like that, because that also will burden the liver. So just an example, if you spend a lot of time in a room that is full of synthetic material and plastics which have an outgassing, then your liver will be more burdened. Whereas if you are surrounded by natural materials that don't outgas chemicals, then you will be, you'll more quickly get into balance.
That's fascinating. I've noticed spots, a discoloration here. What is that about?
Take a look here. Mm-hmm.
It's just like a big freckle.
Yeah, how long have you had that?
I guess maybe a year, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Those are usually signs of discharging from deeper inside, leftovers from old sweets or things going in that direction, sugar,
I see.
chocolates, things from before. It just surfaces. If it's very tight brown things like a mole, that's more something that comes from animal food. But this kind of brown is more a diffuse kind of brown. It's just like a blotch, something like that. It's more from simple sugar.
It's all those caramels I ate, I think.
That's right. It's all coming out.
I loved caramel.
But the good thing is you can get that into balance again.
Yes.
It comes, but then it will fade again.
Okay. Vegetables or anything in particular?
No, I think that's just to stay with a nice broad program. That's it. Because someone now, you can see she looks good. She's got a lot of health, vitality going for her. A person with the normal perspective would say she's too thin. She ought to eat some butter and get back so she looks like she's healthy again. But from my point of view especially, see, she looks like she has gotten rid of a lot of the burdens of the past in her body, and it's just a matter of now keeping a nice, flexible, broad perspective and going forward. That's what it's about here.
Yes, I did eat a lot of dairy.
Mm-hmm.
When I came off meat, I did what so many people do. I started eating a lot of cheese,
Mm-hmm.
alas.
Yeah, that's right. That's what people usually do. That's why even in the introduction to my book, I mentioned that when you stop meat, by all means, don't increase the cheese.
Yes.
Because that's what everybody does.
And I used to love cheese and fruit, and I think of it now, oh, what a terrible combination.
That's right. It was all part of the learning process. Huh?
Right.
Well, that's very good. So I think that's the most important things for you. But skin quality is very good. Her skin is discharging, because the skin is clean, it's able to discharge. You know that sweat and urine have a very similar biochemical composition. And when your skin is not blocked by fat, the toxic material will get out better. If it's blocked by fat, it means everything has to work its way out some other way. You're losing a good discharge organ by having fat accumulations in your skin.
And what is this?
How long have you had this? It's a little protrusion here.
Probably a couple of years. 2 or 3.
Well, it's hard to say what that might be. It feels like it's something more yin. So it's hard to say what you would do about it. If it doesn't bother you, I would just not pay much attention to it and just continue. What you're doing is becoming more and more yang all the time. It's just coming step by step.
That's interesting. So I was too yin, probably.
That's right. Yes. Eating all those goodies. Huh? They're yin.
All that fruit.
Yeah.
Another very simple recommendation that the diagnostician made to me was showering twice a day, you know, when I was in the process of getting rid of all that toxicity. And also I had another very helpful dream. I dreamed the body needs selenium, and I hadn't the foggiest notion of what selenium was. And I found it in the dictionary, and I found out after I had been diagnosed as having some mercury poisoning from the fillings in my teeth that selenium was a remedy for mercury poisoning.
That's very good. Well,
It was amazing.
that sounds like you've got your intuitive channel to higher levels going quite well.
Well, I was very grateful at that point. I bought selenium.
Yeah, that's right. Selenium is indeed a good way to deal with mercury poisoning. Unfortunately, seaweeds are high in that. So
Good.
when we eat macrobiotically and we're eating seaweeds regularly, we are doing what is necessary to discharge these toxic heavy metals.
That it was interesting to me because I'd had those mercury fillings put in when I was, I suppose, around 6, 7, maybe 8. And at that time I started having boils at the same time that those mercury fillings went into my body. I noticed that.
Very interesting. Yeah, the mercury poisoning aspect is something that is still kind of underneath the surface, but more and more people are finding out about what it really means for health. It destroys the immune system. It is setting the stage for a lot of the immune-related diseases that are coming upon us.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great.
I actually have 2. Will exercise increase the speed of just getting fat out in between it? Are you supposed to have none in between your skin or whatever? Are you supposed to have like 0 fat there?
Okay, that's a couple of good questions. I'll repeat them. First of all, is physical exercise good for reducing the excess fat in the skin? And number 2, is it an optimal state to have no fat in your skin? The answer to the first question is, of course, physical exercise is an important part of it, and for certain diseases like diabetes, it's impossible to get balance without it. No matter how good you eat, you'll still have problems. When you exercise, you sweat. Through the sweat, you discharge toxic material. So if you're the lazy type, at least go to the sauna or the hot springs or something. But even better is physical exercise. That will increase the sweating. It's interesting that heavy metals you get rid of through sweat more easily than you can through the urinary tract. So it's good to exercise, good physical exercise. Also, the breakdown is accelerated in general of fat excess. The second part of the question, should you have no fat? The answer is no, you should have some. Because, especially for women, if a woman has absolutely no fat and she's in the age of menstruation, she will quite often experience an interruption of her menstrual cycle, because estrogen, which is necessary for a proper menstrual cycle, will tend to be depressed by too little. This is what happens to Olympic athletes, women who are basically nothing but muscle and sinew, and they're strong, athletic, they have not an ounce of fat on their body, as they say, and these women, notoriously, have a lot of problems with menstruation, because they're basically, through Olympic athletics, they're losing their femininity. It's it's kind of an unnatural situation to be so muscular and so strong. It's okay if you have a lot of fun with that. I wouldn't say it's not the proper thing to do, but that's what happens. So in macrobiotics, we'll experience sometimes that women will have problems when they get rid of that, and then if they go down too much in the breakdown of the fat, that they will then have an interruption of the menstrual cycle for a while. It can go like 2, 3, 4, up to 6 months. Usually clicks in again as they get balance, but that's one of the things that can happen. Take another question here.
What I saw from my seat, the last example had very red rings around her eyes, as well as when she closed her eyes, her eyelids were red.
Mm-hmm.
What does that show?
Okay, what does that show? First of all, I don't think she was really red. Would you like to come up again? We'll just take another quick look at you.
It's not makeup.
Now, one of the disadvantages that you have in the audience is that it's kind of hard to see all these things. Now, her eyelids are, close your eyes again, just the very low part, it is a little reddish. But this can be a genetic kind of thing. Now, she has no reddish here. This is all pretty much the same color. She has no kidney bags, but it's just a little red right there. Now, many people tend to have that. My wife has eyelids like that, even after 23 years of macrobiotics. That's something that's just in her Scandinavian background. But for her, I wouldn't use that as part of a diagnosis because it's something that is very minimal in its meaning. One thing we can say, anytime there's red, it's a sign of some kind of yin, because the redness always comes from this expansion of the blood vessels. So it's a kind of yinness there, but I wouldn't attach any importance to it for her diagnosis, especially because it's just this one little strip along the eyes. The most important would be if you would see it covering like the whole area between the eyebrows and the eyelids, or the eyelid included, or if the whole eye, the whole area, were reddish. Okay, thank you. So, we can take just a quick look at one more person here. Lots of hands go up. Okay, we'll take a man this time. We're going to have more sessions, so that's also the point. Many more people will have the opportunity to come up here and share their health conditions with us. Because of time, we'll do this fairly rapidly. We can also come back to this case again if we find it to be very interesting. Okay, let's see. Would you remove your glasses and we'll take a look at your condition here. Okay, we'll take a look at your hands. What color is his hand? Red. It's not only red, but it's wet. Now, he might be a little bit nervous about being up here.
No, it got wet about 2 days ago.
About 2 days ago.
It was dry and white, and it became red and wet.
Became red and wet. Mm-hmm. How long have you been eating macrobiotic food?
I've been changing over for about 2 years, but only really completely since I came here.
Uh-huh. About a month now?
Yeah, I was on dairy until I came here, for sure.
Uh-huh. I think you're experiencing also here a discharge in the kidney area. Mm-hmm. Now, if we look at the area below his eyes, we see some definite kidney signs here, right? Hmm? Don't we see that? Right. This area, of course, it might be a little difficult for you to see there. So his hand has got a reddish color, which starts right here, covers the whole hand, but especially has become wet, showing that his kidneys are stressed. Now I'm going to check the Achilles tendon to see what that feels like. Now that feels pretty good. It's tight. It's not swollen. If it had been swollen, I would consider this kidney condition to be, let's say, more out of balance. I think he's having some experiences of adjustment here, what we call adjusting with discharges and moving towards better health, but his kidneys are working more now than they were before because he's now discharging toxic material from inside. It's going through the kidneys. Check this hand. So here, the same pattern. You can see here, look at the hands. See, not only wet, but quite soft. Now, soft means more yin or more yang? More yin, that's right. Firm, more yang, soft. Oh, this is also interesting. When we do hand diagnosis tomorrow, let's come back to you, okay? So, kind of a subject we don't want to get into right now, but this is a very interesting thing. Now, he's been doing a transition diet over to more macrobiotic foods. I can feel that he has also experienced some discharge. In any case, I can feel his backbone. I can feel the individual vertebrae. My hand easily slides under the shoulder blade. So, just using these simple techniques we started with today, we can say that he's really not doing that bad, but that his body is in a process of transition right now. So what we'll do is tomorrow is when we come to the hand diagnosis, we'll come back to you and we'll take a look at that and some more things in depth. Okay? Thank you. So that will conclude this session, and be looking forward to seeing you all for the next session. Have a good evening.